I thought I'll share the process of how I choose what colors goes into my palette. So first of all, I didn't get into choosing what are the primaries, the secondaries, you know, warm and cool. That's not the first step that I take. When you're starting out, I think that is the way to go, but because I've been painting with watercolor for the past like 6 years, I know what I use. So I want to put those colors. And where do I get that data? From the palettes that I currently use. So here I've looked at what my travel palette looks like and what colors I've been using a lot. If you see a hole kind of digging in, it means that those are the colors that I use a lot. And also if I remember, oh yeah, I've used that and I filled it, those are the data that you have to look into. I am thinking about tallying it, how many times I do reach out for those paint tubes to fill in the palette, so that could be one way of doing it. But basically I looked into my travel palette from the portable painter and my DIY. I know which one I use a lot from this could be a data, and also from the palette that I use in my studio, I can determine what I use heavily and fill in the colors a lot. So that's where I get the data first. I would then ask myself, okay, what are the warms and cools of the primaries, and then the browns and the neutrals. Then next step, I did use some coconut oil because it smells nice to kind of prime the surface. And then I filled in all of these pans with using like a toothpick as well as water bottle so you can spray it. Oh, and you also need a paper towel so you can wipe off the toothpick goes dirty. So what I did learn was that one, if you want these paints to go in flat and have that nice kind of feeling to it, it's gonna be hard. I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But the way apparently to do it is get that paint tube, squeeze it out, try to fill it out completely, and then put water in and then tap it and use a toothpick to kind of like mix it in well so it lays flat, and then you'll have to let it dry for a while. Now there are certain colors like the Rose Doré from Winsor & Newton that I absolutely love. This one, look how messy it is. It's so clumpy. So I think certain pigments is really going to be hard to make it flat. With the Gram like Viridian, where they use like the honey binder, maybe that's the key difference. This like completely flat, and look at that gorgeous look that it has. So I think this really depends on the pigments, you know, characteristics per se. And then one more other thing that I realized is, so this is the double pan and this is the standard pan. But while I was filling up the double pan, and first I filled this Potter's Pink because I use it a lot, I realized that it was a lot. I was like, this will take me ages to like use if I'm just sketching in my sketchbook. So I gradually went really low with all, like I didn't fill it up completely with the double pans. Because I'm such a huge color lover, I kind of wish I got many of the regular pans so I can kind of have fun with the colors. But if you're the type that is like, I can't decide, then maybe having the double pans is kind of good, so you kind of narrow it down to like a few specific colors. I took out the mixing well because I thought maybe I'll just test how it goes, because it feels bigger than I initially thought about the mixing area, but having it in my hand, I just feel like that might be enough space to mix things. So this is for some other time. I might even like stick it on my Stablo when I need more mixing areas. And I've left one double pan empty, so I have like a wild card. I always want room for wiggling space, so I thought I'll leave this empty for that one color that might come up. One other thing I would mention is that although most of these are colors that I really use a lot, there are certain colors that I haven't used so much, but I put it in. So one of them is cement gray. Now, if you've seen my video on the Japanese art haul, I just absolutely love this color. So this is something new that I added into my collection and I just love, and I use a lot of whites and opaque colors, so I thought that would be a good one to have. And then the other one is Schmincke Volcano Yellow. I kind of use the nickel titanate yellow from Daniel Smith a lot, but I like more subtle colors, and this volcano yellow is one of the main colors that are used in the super granulating series from Schmincke, like creating the haze blue, and I really like that subtlety, the subtle yellows in them, so I thought I'll kind of switch those two yellows up. And then what else did I kind of put in? So the cobalt teal blue, for this is a specific pigment, PG50, that I really love using, but I really enjoy using the Schmincke's, oh my god, Schmincke's turquoise light, I think it's called. I really like that version of PG50, but because I know I have to start using other colors that I own, I thought I'll switch that up and try to use it outside of my studio at least. So it's the same PG50, but I just chose one that I wouldn't typically use in my studio. And then one other thing I kind of switched around was I usually use Serpentine Genuine, which is a very similar green to this, in the studio a lot. I just love that color. And it's even in my travel palettes. But again, the same reason, because I want to use more other colors that I'm accumulating in my studio, I kind of swap those greens. And I know it's like close enough green that I would use. I really love using Shadow Violet. But when it comes to travel palettes, you kind of want to take less and mix more, so to speak. So then I swapped it with the Shadow Violet. I use a lot of the Shadow Violet, but because I know that I can kind of mix to create that color, say with the neutral tint that I have, I thought I'll put in a brown, a neutral that I don't have in, which is this really rich brown. And this pigment from Core, basically any paint from Core goes a long way. So I just put a bit. And then another thing is Moonglow. So this is one of the pigments that I use heavily, but because I know for my travel palette, although I know this is not light fast and it's like very fugitive, I know that the works will mainly go inside my sketchbook. So I put this as a wild card because I just love using Moonglow. And what's the other time that I can use this fugitive color? Inside my sketchbook. So I put it in there. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and I kind of want to place these inside to see how it looks. It's not dry yet. I think I'll put the yellows here. I know this all is not going to fit, so I probably need to kind of move them around eventually. And one other thing I did realize is that, oh my god, these like small, the regular pans are really small. And one other thing I was thinking is that because you don't know which color is what, that's the key thing. Like, I'm not going to have like a swatched card like I do for the other palettes because I know it's easily changeable. I don't know. What would I do for that problem? Write them in the back so I can see what color they are, maybe label them for each. Not too sure. Let me know what you do that is working. I'm running out of space. Okay, Viridian is important. Okay, maybe aqua green can be left out because in nature I don't think those colors tend to pop out so often. All right, something has to go. I'm running into a predicament. I have to let go of something. What would I let go of? Now my hand is gonna be dirtied. Oh no. Oh dear. The Viridian is so wet that it's getting all over me. Oh no. Yeah, I would say let those paints dry before you even put them in. And then I'm gonna keep the other colors in somewhere else so then I can always go back to it. So I'm gonna keep this open maybe because some are sticking out and I bet that will get on. Yeah. Make sure they don't get in the way. Okay, so that's basically it.